In a world where betrayal can spark an inferno of emotions, there exists a story of revenge so powerful and intricate that it leaves no heart untouched. Imagine a woman whose love was once pure and unyielding, only to be shattered by the deceit of the one person she trusted most, a husband who traded loyalty for fleeting pleasures. This is the story of Isabella Hart, a woman whose journey from the United States to the vibrant streets of Thailand is driven by a burning desire to reclaim her self-respect and exact a carefully orchestrated vengeance on the cheater who betrayed her. It all began on an autumn afternoon in a quiet suburb of Chicago. Isabella, once known for her gentle smile and warm demeanor, had built a life filled with shared dreams and promises with her husband, Daniel Hart. They had weathered storms together, and for years, their bond had been the envy of their friends and family. But behind the facade of marital bliss, Daniel had been weaving a web of lies, a secret affair that stretched across cities and blurred the lines of fidelity. Isabella's world came crashing down the day she discovered evidence of his infidelity, a painful revelation that left her feeling exposed, humiliated, and betrayed. In the stillness of that fateful evening, as rain tapped gently on the window pane, Isabella sat alone in her elegantly furnished living room, the silence around her punctuated only by her racing heartbeat. The discovery was like a dagger to her soul. It was in that moment of despair that a spark of resolve ignited within her. No longer willing to be a victim, she vowed to transform her pain into a weapon, a meticulously planned campaign of retribution that would leave Daniel reeling in the wake of his own treachery. Isabella's plan was as audacious as it was cunning. She decided that the time had come to leave behind the familiar streets of Chicago and venture into a realm where she could reinvent herself, a place as enigmatic as the secrets that had once been hidden behind closed doors. With steely determination, she set her sights on Thailand, a country renowned for its captivating landscapes, bustling markets, and mysterious allure. It was here, amid the blend of ancient traditions and modern hustle, that Isabella would hunt the man who had once been her partner in life. Her journey to Thailand was both literal and metaphorical, a departure from the life she once knew and an embrace of a new, fierce identity. As her plane ascended into the skies, Isabella's thoughts churned with memories of laughter, shared meals, and whispered promises of forever. But now, each memory was laced with a bitter tang of betrayal. With every mile that separated her from the life she once cherished, she shed layers of vulnerability and transformed into a woman driven by an unyielding sense of purpose. Upon her arrival in Bangkok, Isabella was immediately swept up by the city's vibrant chaos. A sensory overload of neon lights, bustling street vendors, and a constant hum of life. But beneath the surface of this urban tapestry, she knew that the true battleground lay hidden in the shadows of the night. She began her quest by tracking Daniel's digital footprints, piecing together clues from his sporadic social media posts and the whispered tips of acquaintances who recognized his familiar face in the crowd. The city's underbelly, with its labyrinthine alleys and secret rendezvous spots, became her hunting ground. In the midst of her pursuit, fate intervened in the form of Alexander Reed, a charming local entrepreneur with a reputation for helping those in need. Alexander, with his deep hazel eyes and a calm demeanor that belied a turbulent past, found himself drawn to Isabella's quiet strength and unspoken sorrow. Their paths crossed unexpectedly at a secluded riverside cafe, where the soft murmur of flowing water provided a temporary haven from the urban storm. What began as a cautious exchange of words soon evolved into a bond forged through shared losses and unspoken understanding. Alexander's knowledge of Bangkok's intricate network of back alleys and hidden corners proved invaluable, and together they formed an alliance that was as much about survival as it was about redemption. For weeks, Isabella and Alexander traversed the cityscape of Bangkok and beyond, following faint traces of Daniel's presence. Isabella's transformation was remarkable. The once gentle wife now exuded an aura of quiet menace and resolute determination. Every encounter, Every whispered conversation in dimly lit bars and secluded tea houses added another piece to the puzzle. They discovered that Daniel, basking in the glow of newfound freedom, had established a covert life in the city, a life filled with indulgence, reckless abandon, and dangerous liaisons. Yet, even as he reveled in his newfound lifestyle, Daniel remained blissfully unaware that the woman he had betrayed was steadily closing in on him. As Isabella navigated the pulsating streets of Bangkok, her mind was a whirlwind of emotions, a potent mix of longing, rage, and a strange, lingering love for the man who had once promised her everything. The tension between the remnants of a past romance and the burning desire for revenge created a complex mosaic of feelings that she struggled to reconcile. Late at night, as the city slept beneath a blanket of shimmering stars, Isabella would find herself wandering the silent corridors of a forgotten temple, where ancient statues and time-worn inscriptions bore silent witness to the passage of countless souls. In those moments, she allowed herself to feel the raw intensity of her emotions, the aching void of betrayal, and the exhilarating rush of impending retribution. The pursuit took an unexpected turn when Isabella's relentless investigation led her to the glittering shores of Phuket. Here, amidst the contrast of pristine beaches and rugged coastal cliffs, she discovered that Daniel had sought refuge in a luxurious resort, a stark embodiment of his hedonistic lifestyle. With a blend of stealth and determination, Isabella infiltrated the resort, her presence cloaked in the anonymity of a well-planned disguise. She moved through the corridors like a shadow, each step echoing the rhythm of her heartbeat, until finally she found herself in a suite where Daniel was staying. The confrontation that ensued was electric, charged with a tension that was both palpable and disquieting. In that fateful encounter, the room became a stage for a drama of emotions long suppressed. Daniel, caught off guard by the unexpected arrival of the woman he had once loved, was initially overwhelmed by shock. The silence between them was broken only by the sound of crashing waves and the distant hum of the resort's nightlife. Isabella's eyes, dark with determination and haunted by the scars of betrayal, locked onto his with an intensity that spoke volumes. For a long, agonizing moment, neither spoke, each lost in their own tempest of regret, anger, and unresolved desire. The air was thick with memories of shared passion and broken promises, of laughter and the pain of deceit. And then, in a voice both calm and commanding, Isabella laid bare her grief and her quest for justice. A litany of words that captured the magnitude of her suffering and the inexorable drive to reclaim her dignity. Daniel, realizing that the time for denial had long passed, tried to muster a defense, but his words faltered against the force of Isabella's conviction. The confrontation evolved into a bitter dialogue, one that oscillated between accusations and confessions. Isabella recounted every moment of his infidelity with a clarity that was as devastating as it was liberating. She spoke not only of the betrayal, but of the erosion of trust, the shattering of dreams, and the silent nights spent in the cold embrace of loneliness. In that moment, the resort room transformed into a confessional chamber where secrets spilled forth like torrents, washing away the remnants of a once-cherished love. Yet, even as Isabella unleashed her fury, a subtle undercurrent of compassion shimmered beneath her hardened exterior, a reminder that love, even when marred by betrayal, leaves its indelible mark on the soul. Daniel's eyes, filled with remorse and a dawning understanding of the irreparable damage he had caused, betrayed a vulnerability that he had long concealed behind a mask of arrogance. The tension in the room shifted imperceptibly, as if the scales of justice and forgiveness teetered on the brink of an uncertain equilibrium. But forgiveness was a luxury Isabella could no longer afford. Her quest for revenge was not fueled by a desire for simple retribution. It was a journey of self-discovery, a transformation from a shattered spirit to a woman of iron will and unyielding resolve. After that explosive encounter, Isabella withdrew into the night, leaving behind a stunned Daniel and a maelstrom of unresolved emotions. The resort became a microcosm of their fractured lives, a place where glimmers of past intimacy clashed violently with the harsh light of betrayal. For Isabella, the true victory lay not in the physical confrontation, but in the reclamation of her own identity. She realized that in pursuing Daniel, she had been chasing not just a man, but the ghost of a lost future, a future that could never be restored. And so, with the first light of dawn illuminating the horizon, she made a decision that would change everything. She would no longer allow herself to be defined by the wounds of the past, but rather, she would forge a new path, one where her heart, though scarred, beat with the promise of renewal. The journey of revenge, however, was far from over. Isabella knew that the battle was not won with a single confrontation. It was a long, arduous journey of unmasking the lies that had built the edifice of her shattered life. She began to document every detail of Daniel's deceit, a meticulous record of his betrayals, his double life, and the many ways in which he had manipulated the trust that had once been the foundation of their marriage. With the aid of Alexander, whose support had grown into a steadfast alliance, Isabella set in motion a plan that was as ingenious as it was daring. They compiled a dossier of damning evidence and sought the help of trusted legal experts and investigative journalists who had long been critical of the hidden machinations of the elite. In a series of clandestine meetings held in the hidden alcoves of Bangkok's night markets and quiet coffee houses, Isabella and her newfound allies laid the groundwork for exposing the true nature of Daniel's betrayal. Every photograph, every recorded conversation, every fragment of evidence was meticulously archived, forming a tapestry of deception that spanned continents. With each piece of evidence, Isabella's determination grew, and the lure of justice, long buried beneath layers of pain and regret, resurfaced with an intensity that defied explanation. As the weeks turned into months, the investigation began to cast ripples far beyond the glittering facades of luxury resorts and the murky depths of Bangkok's underbelly. Isabella's pursuit of the truth soon attracted the attention of a wider audience, a group of people who, like her, had been wronged by deceit and betrayal. Online forums, support groups, and media outlets caught wind of the unfolding drama, turning Isabella's personal vendetta into a movement that resonated with countless individuals seeking justice in a world rife with dishonesty. The story of the betrayed wife, who dared to stand up against the unfaithful, ignited discussions about trust, accountability, and the power of resilience. Yet, amid the growing public support, Isabella's personal journey remained fraught with the constant tension between love and vengeance. There were moments when the memories of her once happy marriage would resurface, a tender smile here, a loving embrace there, and for an instant, she would be pulled back into a time when hope and dreams were not yet shattered by betrayal. But those moments, though fleeting, only served to remind her of the stark contrast between what was lost and what she must reclaim. With Alexander by her side, offering a steady presence and an unspoken promise of loyalty, Isabella embraced the paradox of her emotions, a fierce love for a man who had betrayed her, interwoven with an equally fierce desire to see him pay for every lie he had spun. The climax of Isabella's campaign for justice unfolded during a high-profile press conference in Bangkok, a dramatic event orchestrated not merely to expose Daniel's misdeeds, but to challenge the very societal norms that allowed such betrayal to flourish unchecked. In a packed auditorium filled with reporters, activists, and ordinary citizens who had followed her story with bated breath, Isabella took to the stage with a composure that belied the inner turmoil she had endured. With a voice both resolute and tinged with sorrow, she recounted the harrowing details of her journey, the nights spent in cold isolation, the days of relentless pursuit, and the unyielding determination that had driven her from the comforts of home to the unknown terrains of a foreign land. As she unveiled the damning evidence, Isabella's words resonated deeply with the audience, drawing both sympathy and indignation. The images of a once devoted wife, transformed into a formidable force for justice, were seared into the collective memory of those present. Daniel's name, once spoken in hushed tones of regret, now became a symbol of betrayal and moral decay. In that charged atmosphere, the air was thick with anticipation, as if every heart present beat in unison with the rhythm of retribution. And yet, even in the midst of this public reckoning, the question of love, fragile, complex, and often contradictory, remained ever present. Isabella's eyes, glistening with unshed tears, met those of a man in the crowd who had silently offered his support. Alexander, who had walked beside her through the darkest alleys of Bangkok, now stood as a testament to the possibility of renewal after heartbreak. Their silent exchange was a poignant reminder that even in a tale defined by revenge, the human heart retains the capacity for love, forgiveness, and rebirth. In the aftermath of the press conference, the repercussions of Isabella's revelations rippled far and wide. Legal proceedings were set in motion, and the once unassailable reputation of Daniel Hart crumbled like a house of cards. The ensuing media frenzy and public outcry forced institutions to confront the realities of infidelity, accountability, and the enduring impact of betrayal. Isabella, now a symbol of resilience and unyielding determination, found herself at a crossroads, a point where the possibility of healing and new beginnings beckoned even as the wounds of the past refused to fully close. In quiet moments of reflection, Isabella would return to the places where it had all begun, the familiar streets of Chicago, the whispered memories of a life filled with both love and deception, and realize that her journey, though marked by pain and vengeance, had also become a quest for self-discovery. The pursuit of justice had forced her to confront her own vulnerabilities and to redefine her identity in the face of overwhelming adversity. With each passing day, the scars of betrayal began to fade, replaced by a resilient hope that promised not an end, but a transformation, a metamorphosis into a woman who was stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than she had ever imagined. As the story of Isabella's revenge spread across continents and through the corridors of power, it took on a life of its own, a living narrative that challenged the status quo and redefined the boundaries of love, loss, and redemption. Her journey was a reminder that the heart, when wronged, can ignite a fire of determination so fierce that it burns away the lies of the past and illuminates the path to a future defined by truth and self-respect. Today, as I recount this saga of betrayal and retribution, I invite you to reflect on the transformative power of pain and the incredible strength that emerges when one dares to stand against injustice. Isabella's story is not simply one of revenge. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the enduring capacity for love in the face of despair, and the promise that every ending is but the seed of a new beginning. Her footsteps, echoing through the neon-lit streets of Bangkok and the quiet corners of her once familiar world, serve as a reminder that even in the darkest moments, the spark of hope can kindle the flames of change.